Hi there, I'm Kristen, Doctor of Physical Therapy at Into the Light Healing and Bodywork. This routine was compiled to help stabilize the SI joints, which are in your low back, kind of connecting the spine with the hips. Okay, so this routine should help to reduce pain by stabilizing those SI joints. And I also chose exercises that are safe for pregnancy in all the trimesters. If you have a bolster or some blocks or both, then they would be handy. If not, maybe grab a couple pillows. All right, let's meet on the mat. Okay, friend, you're going to start seated. If it's painful for you to sit cross-legged, it's okay to use a chair or a ball or legs out. Whatever you can find that's comfortable. We're going to start with a breathing exercise. This breathing exercise helps to connect the two sides of the brain, so that'll be great for our practice today. What we're going to do is take our thumb and our ring finger on one hand, stick them up, and then we're going to close the right nostril with the thumb, breathe in through the left nostril, close the left nostril with the ring finger, and then breathe out through the right nostril. Breathe in through the right nostril here, close the right nostril, and breathe out through the left nostril. Breathe in through the left nostril, close the left nostril, and breathe out through the right. Continue flowing with this breath, alternating. Taking a break to blow your nose if you need to. Out through the left nostril, in through the left nostril. Out through the right nostril, in through the right nostril. Out through the left nostril, in through the left nostril. Out through the right nostril. And then you can bring your hand down. We'll take a couple of normal breaths here. Elongating your posture, noticing where you could activate some more muscles in your core to support your spine. Right, then we're going to find our way kind of onto our backs. We're going to start by putting our feet together. The bottoms of our feet come together and knees can go open wide here. Now, if this is a lot of stretch and you need some support under here, this is where the blocks come in handy. You can just place them underneath your thighs and legs there to support the knees. And then if you have a bolster, or if you're in your third trimester of pregnancy, you do want to have the bolster behind your back so you're a little bit elevated there. You don't have to have the bolster. What we'll do here is try to stretch open the hips. So if you're comfortable, you can scoot the blocks further out to feel some stretch. And if this feels okay for you, bring your feet together. Activate your muscles all the way through the legs so that the feet press in towards each other. You might feel some activation or some angst in the SI joint that's painful. Back off a little bit, ease a little bit, and then try again, changing just a little bit. Activate muscles in a little bit different way. It will also feel different whether you have the bolster or a pillow under your back, or if you have nothing under your back. So feel free to play with that a little bit. It'll also feel different if you have the blocks or don't have the blocks. And then when you get into a comfortable position where you feel a good balance of stretch and muscle activation that's helping to reduce the pain back there, let's try to focus on breathing. So we'll fill our bellies up with air, and then maybe as we breathe out, we can activate the legs and press those feet together. It doesn't have to be a super strong contraction. Even 50 to 75% of your max is great. Maybe even 25% if it's painful. Breathing in, filling the belly with air, and breathing out, activating those muscles, pressing the heels and the balls of the feet together. If you want to try it without the blocks, feel free to do so. Sometimes it helps if you don't have blocks just to add a little bit of support with your hands near your thighs there. Remembering the breathing, tightening the low abdominals, pulling the low ribs inward towards the belly button. Just activating those core muscles, hip muscles. And then I'd like you to try squeezing your heels together so you're activating the legs. Lift with your hands the thighs so that they come towards each other at midline. Okay, we're going to plant the feet down on the mat, bottoms of the feet to the mat, and then we're going to lift our buns up towards the ceiling. Option here to stay and strengthen your stabilizers for the long haul, or if you need a little bit more movement, then we can flow with the breath, breathing out as you lift your pelvis and breathing in as you go back down. If you're in your third trimester here, and if you feel okay laying on your back, I would suggest doing this one, the lifting and lowering rather than the hold. You can lift your toes, keeping only your heels on the ground for a little added challenge for the legs. Squeeze the buns, stabilize the SI joints. Okay, so next thing we're going to do, kind of roll to the side to push up into a kind of a reclined position here. Just want to protect the low back there and the neck from just sitting straight up. But what we'll do next is turn the hands so that the fingertips are pointing towards the feet. And keep your heels as close to your buns as you can comfortably get them. We're going to keep a little bend in the elbows to strengthen the arms too. And then we're going to lift up our pelvises and have like a tabletop kind of a shape. Keep the chin tucked here. And then we're going to stick one leg straight. So let's first move our feet together, like touching. Pull the thighs, inner thighs towards each other. And then we're going to stretch out one leg. Knees straight but not hyperextended. And then toes as if they're pushing on a gas pedal. You can press that heel, that straight leg heel, the left one for me, down into the floor to support that left glute and SI joint. That's short for sacroiliac if you didn't know that. Get the bend in the elbows and the tucking of the chin. And then we'll bring that left foot up. Bring the bottom down for a moment. Get a little stretch through those wrists. Shake it off. And then we'll go back into it. Okay, you can even place the feet together here if you like. And then we're going to pull the shoulder blades down the back. Lift the pelvis. Keep the chin tucked here, slight bend in the elbows. Pelvis lifted, and then we'll straighten up that right knee and press on the gas with the right foot. Press that right heel into the ground to help lift and stabilize the SI joint. Make sure here that we're keeping the pelvis level. Alright, let's lower down. Shake out the wrists again. Maybe even bend them together. Roll them out. Okay. Rolling onto our side here, we're going to get down on an elbow. So put the elbow right underneath the shoulder, and then we're going to turn the forearm so it's about 45 degrees out. Thumb pointing up towards the ceiling. We're going to stretch the legs long here. Option to stretch the legs long here. You can also have them bent and then just come up onto knees and shins. That works well too. And actually, if you want to start with this, that's a good idea, because we're going to try doing some hip dips here. So bring the hips to the ground and back up, to the ground and back up. And I'm going to try one legs long here, totally stabilizing with the left hand. And then we're going to drop the hip down. If it feels good, there's no pain, then we can stretch through that left upper side body and right lower side body and left side neck. All right, we're going to go to the other side. Once again, knees can be either bent or straight. I'm going to start with 2 bent knee ones, and then left elbow is underneath left shoulder, forearm turned out about 45 degrees. We're going to lift that left hip up off of the mat, pull the shoulder blades down the back, dip 1, dip 2, I'm going to do straight knees, and dip 3. And then I'm going to just drop my hips to the floor, lengthen my spine, pull the shoulder blades down the back, drop the left ear to the left shoulder, stretch through the back and the SI joint. From here, we're going to roll onto all fours. Knees placed underneath the hips and hands underneath the shoulders. Pull the shoulder blades down the back, and if your wrists are bothering you, it's okay to do fists instead of wrists. Here, make sure knees are at least hip distance apart. Having them a little bit wider is totally appropriate. Well, you might have something in between here in your low belly, so just want to make sure we have space for that baby. So what we'll do now is breathe in, point the tailbone behind you. That drops the belly and the chest comes forward, and then you can look forward. And then as you exhale, we're going to tuck the tailbone to point it at the floor. That's going to lift up the low back and the upper back. Press through your hands to keep the shoulders in good alignment and let the head drop. Inhale, we're going to reverse that again, so tailbone points behind you, belly drops, but still hold a contraction through the abdominals, don't let it just sag. And then chest forward, head up, and exhale, tucking the tailbone to the floor, lifting the low back and then the middle back up towards the ceiling, letting the head drop. Let's continue to flow with this, breathing in and out. See if you can feel that SI joint. Keep the pelvis level. One more tuck. And we'll come to neutral. Okay, this one can be kind of tricky. Maybe bring the knees a little bit closer together, but not quite touching. Okay, we're going to pull the shoulder blades down the back. Press the left heel way back behind and the right hand forward, thumb up. Try to keep your pelvis level here. So making sure not to do one of those numbers where you're kind of awkwardly bending like so, but just keep things level. And if that means you need to keep a small range of motion, that's wonderful. It's great that you can control that and be aware of your body. Okay, we're going to bring that down, and then we're going to do the other side. So keeping that pelvis as level as possible, really pressing the heel away from the body and the fingertips away from the body. We're going to bring it back in. Trying to flow with the breath here. Doesn't always work out, but that's okay. Okay, inhaling, stretching opposite directions, keeping the pelvis as level as possible, and exhaling down, inhaling, reaching opposite directions. I tend to look down with this one. I just keep my gaze on the mat, but try to pull my head back so it's going like up towards the ceiling, the back of the head. Not looking up, still looking at the mat, but pulling the head up. I hope that makes sense. Okay, we're going to add something here. We're going to keep the hands on the mat, and we're going to press the left heel back. Now we're going to keep it lifted for a moment here. See if you can get that level pelvis. And then we're going to keep a straight knee as we turn the toes inward and outward. Inward, outward. Remembering to keep the low abdominals engaged and the upper abdominals too. So we're keeping those low ribs knit in towards the abdomen or the belly button. It's okay if the foot kind of droops down a little bit. Press into the hands, a little bend in the elbows, shoulder blades down the back. Just twisting so that that whole leg rotates in and rotates out. Do the best you can there, taking a break when you need to, even with the wrists. And then we'll switch sides. So putting your weight through that left knee, straightening out the right one. Abdominals are engaged, shoulders are in the right spot, there's integrity there, and we're going to rotate. Let's put the pelvis level. It helps me to be able to feel what's going on back there. You're free to try that as well. It's a little bit harder to balance, but it's just a different challenge. Turning the toes inward and outward. Should feel this in your butt muscle, or probably both actually. And I'm not counting. So if you are and you've done the same amount on both sides, that's great. Go ahead and put it down. Then we're going to tuck the toes under. Move the knees wide. And then we're going to walk our hands back between the knees. We're going to roll up onto the feet. And you can even take your feet a little bit wider if you need some more space. And then maybe, just maybe, putting your heels onto the mat. Hands can be wherever you need them for balance. Take a few breaths here. Feel free to stretch things out a little. And then on our next exhale, we're going to press up. So we're in a semi-standing position here. So we can do, let's do arms forward, tight tummy, press into the feet and come into a squat position here. We're going to keep the arms reaching forward, reaching forward. Squeeze the buns, squeeze and activate all the muscles of the legs. Feet should be wide, pull the head back. And then exhale, we're going to straighten the legs and let the upper body dip forward. Not so much to squish baby if you're like later on, like third trimester. And then we're going to inhale. Use these back muscles to pull you up. And release back down. Again, tight tummy. Use the back muscles. And release back down. And one more time. Use the tummy. Use the back muscles. And then come all the way up into standing. We're going to come to the front of the mat here. And we're going to take a medium step. Not quite the entire length of the mat. We're going to line up the front, the right heel with the arch of the left foot. And a smaller step might be less painful if your SI joint is like really upset right now. Try starting with a smaller step. But the key to this exercise is pressing into the outer edge of that left foot, the back foot. So pressing into that pinky side of the left foot and into the left heel, really activating a line of muscles up through there. Okay, the other thing we're going to do is keep both knees straight. And we're going to try to turn the torso so that the shoulders are in line with the knees. Okay, and we stack our heads on top of our torsos here. And then let's reach our arms wide. And then reach forward with the right hand. And we can dip down here. Now, depending on how flexible you are, this might be a nice place to have a block to support yourself with. If you want the challenge strengthening through that left side body, then don't use the block. And we're going to reach our hand up towards the ceiling, level out the torso. I'm going to switch our feet just by pivoting. Make sure that we have the left heel in line with the right arch. We're going to do straight knees but not locked. Open the pelvis here. Make sure that the front knee doesn't kind of collapse in. We want to make sure that there's integrity through those joints. So we're keeping that left knee in the same line as the left ankle, which really feels like we're really opening the hips a lot. Almost like there's a rotating happening, opening through the hips, through the thighs. Okay. Stacking the torso over the pelvis, keeping that knee in check. We're going to reach our arms out long, reaching forward with the left hand and then tipping down Left hand can come to the shin or a block if you've got one. And then we're feeling a stretch and a strengthen through that right side body. You're doing great. This is a hard one. Remember that we're pressing into that outside edge of the right foot. That pinky side, all the way from the pinky toe to the heel. And then we're going to use our hand, reach up towards the ceiling and then level out. We're going to get a little bit into a lunge here, so we're just going to walk that left foot forward a little bit so there's a little bit more space in between the legs, if that's okay with your SI joint. And then we're going to lift the back heel. Bend the left knee, hefty. And if you need to bend the right knee to stretch, because it's too stretchy in your right hip flexor, you go ahead and do that. We're pulling that left sit bone towards the right inner thigh. Shoulder blades come down the back, and then retract your head. Squeeze the buns. Feel the pelvis working for you. Feel it getting stronger and more stable. Okay, you may need to either use hands or a couple of steps. We're going to bring our right foot forward and up, standing just on that left leg. So for counterbalance, you can bring the arms forward and you could do a couple steps if you need a couple steps. And then lifting that right knee so that it is level with the hip. Seeing if you can find some balance through the left leg, really pressing down through the feet. Disengage or like magnets of the same polarity. You want to kind of lift out of the hip. Like your pelvis and your femur are like unattracted to each other. Lift and create space there. Take some muscles. It's alright, you're building them. Take a break whenever you need to. Lift up the toes on the right side, lift up the toes on the left side. Cool. Right foot down. We're just going to take a wide stance. Left foot goes back, way back. Heel is lifted. We're going to bend the right knee so that it comes over the right ankle. Right sit bone goes towards left inner thigh. Pulling back. Tuck the tailbone a little bit here. Belly pulls in and up. Shoulder blades down the back. Neck retracted. Activate the buns. If you need to have your heel planted and do that pressing through the outer edge of the back foot, that's fine to do that here too. Find peace in the work. Alright, then coming forward to stand just on the right foot. The left knee is about hip height if you can. Lift the left toes, lift the right toes, and then put those back down. Just so we're not gripping through the mat. And then lift out of the hip. Keep the pelvis level. Just hold it as long as you can and then take a break. Come back into it if there's time. Alright, Alright, then we're going to let that leg come down. And we're going to come into relaxation next. So, dealer's choice, whether you would like to lay flat on your back, first or second trimester, or not pregnant, or just be seated, or if you want to get back into that reclined cobbler type hip adductor stretch, you can gather your props and get yourself set up for comfort here, whatever level you are at. Just take a few moments in this position to review the routine, review your body, notice what you feel. Pay attention to those SI joints. Is it talking hopefully quietly to you or not at all? If it's hurting more, this exercise routine is probably not helpful for you. Or you need to make modifications. This is meant to reduce pain and increase stability. Let's just think about that for a moment. The stability that is required in that joint. Just think about what it does, how it holds the pelvis and the legs kind of together. The middleman between the spine and the femur. Maybe take a moment to thank your body for how much it does for you. And thank yourself for making the effort to do something to help yourself to reduce pain. The light and spirit in me honors and appreciates the light and spirit in you. Let peace be with you.